You can get bored of your partner. That's something we don't talk about. It's allowed. It's allowed.
Hello everyone, welcome to our channel Life, Love and Relationship. My name is Oluwakemi. Today's episode promises to be really exciting. We continue to hear the male perspective on vulnerability in relationships. Today, guys, we have with us Toba Oyefeso. I would allow him to introduce himself, but I must say that it's someone that we've had a lot of conversations, and I just thought, oh, you guys really need to hear this man's perspective. Welcome again.
Thank you for having me, sis.
Great to have you here.
Toba Oyefeso, as she said, I work with a media company. I'll call myself a media practitioner. I'm a producer, I'm a sound engineer, a recording artist, a writer, composer.
So thank you for making out time, because I know you're an extremely busy person. So let's just get right into it. How would you define vulnerability in the context of relationships?
I need to put this out there. I'm no relationship expert. I'm learning.
But you have some years of experience under your sleeves.
We all do, don't we? Life is dealing with us.
Life is lifing. It's not dealing with us. We are the ones lifing life.
You took the dealing in a wrong or in a negative perspective. We have a deal with life. We're dealing.
Oh, okay.
It's a continuous thing, you know.
Got it.
All right. So for me, vulnerability would mean sharing everything. Sharing your thoughts, your intentions, your plans, the innermost thoughts that you have as an individual.
Innermost.
You know, you share with your partner and you allow them in and you encourage them to participate, to contribute. Yeah, you allow them in and all of that. For me, I think that's a definition of vulnerability. Because now you're a bit thin, let me put it that way. When I say thin, I mean what assembles your character in terms of how you stand gidigba. You've let some out now. Yes, you shared, should I say, your weak points. Those sides are not so strong. Your fears, your worries, and all of that. They know now. And sometimes these are the things that make you solid as a character. You appear almost flawless. Like, I know they shake, kind of.
Wow.
And then when you talk about these things, oh, so this person entertains fear. This person is scared of rats. See, for instance, no. So
you're scared of rats?
No, I'm just saying, I'm not scared of anything. Even if I'm scared of anything, I won't show that thing that I fear it. That's one secret I have. I have so many phobias, but I don't entertain the phobias.
But you show your partner. Your partner is aware.
Some.
Thank you for your perspective. While you were speaking, you touched on a number of key elements, things that I would consider key elements in vulnerability in marriage. You mentioned fear. You talked about solid character. You talked about weak points as well. And the interesting thing is the way you talked about solid character. But how do you explain a character is solid when you are vulnerable, when you're opening up your fears to this person? How does this person see the character as solid when you are exposing the very weak points?
All right. So when you're with someone for a long period of time, even when you don't decide that this is what I want to show this person, they get to figure you out somehow. They get to know you. You become a bit predictable somewhat. Like, I know this person's character over time. But then there's this Chinese saying or proverbs that there's a face that, we have three faces. I don't remember the first two, but the last one is the one that you show to yourself. Yes, the one you show to yourself. The candid one. What I mean by that is, I am here now. This is what I'm showing you. Dressed this way and all of that. Am I truly like this in my living room space when I'm by myself? Am I this put together and all of that? We all have those faces. Where when you get to work, there's a face you show at work. When you're in church, there's a face you show at church. But when you're by yourself, your truest form comes to play. Now, we want to be accepted in our environment, in our place of work and everything. And then there are certain conditions we need to fulfill to be counted worthy of such association and all of that. So I believe that we all play into the box at some point in our life. You have to show up like this. You have to behave like, you have to talk like this. When you're in your vulnerable states, it now depends on the level of bond that you guys share, the level of trust as well. It's like a father buying a new car, an expensive car, and then he has a burdened son that wants to drive. You dare not go near that car. Maybe there are other cars you can touch, but you see that new one. But the day the father hands that key over to the son, there comes the trust, like to a certain level, you've earned it. You know, sometimes has your partner earned that trust? Have you earned the trust of your partner as well? These things are key, and this is what allows the true form of vulnerability. So to say, like, I can cry in front of this person now. I think I feel safe. Even if I cry, let this person see my teary face and all of that. I don't mind, because this is my safe spot. So I think balancing, to speak to your question, balancing that put together character of yours and then being vulnerable could be very tricky. So trust needs to come in. You need to feel like you're in your safe spot for you to be totally vulnerable, to show your weakness, because now what you're shown is, well, now you know if anyone is going to take me out. It's like a Samson Delilah thing. So can I trust this person? Like, can I go to sleep knowing that I am fine, both eyes closed, and I'm totally fine with this person? If I can answer that, then being vulnerable to that person is easy peasy. But if that person has shown you some bit of, wow, if this person can do this and this person doesn't know this aspect of me, what would they do when they now find out about this? So maybe you want to be careful around them. So trust is very essential, very key element.
Trust is the deciding factor whether you want to be vulnerable to. I mean, for you to want to be vulnerable, like you use the analogy of a father who bought a car. This person has earned that trust, right? But at what point do you think vulnerability should come in relationships? Should we have the expectation that once you've agreed to marry this person,
I was going to say that.
It means that you should be vulnerable?
I was going to say that.
At what point? Before marriage, during marriage?
For me, I think marriage christens everything. Marriage solidifies everything. When you're married to someone, when you guys exchange the vows and everything, it says forever, for better, for worse, for forever, and all of that. So for me, vulnerability should be activated at that point. I mean, when I say activated, I don't mean you guys are going to know each other. It's a journey. It's a continuous journey. There's a saying, me and my sayings, that you don't get the same point or speaks to the character of a woman, but I want to generalize it, not just a woman, man. You know, you've spent 5-10 years. It might take you 10 years to know to begin to know the actual character of that person. I'm not just talking about a woman, and the same points to a woman, but I'm talking about man in his nature. It might take you 5-10 years.
The generic.
Yes, you and I would answer by saying that vulnerability should, in my point of view, should be activated fully in marriage. Because when you're dating someone and you're not sure of the future, it's like a gamble. Life itself is a gamble. When we get out of the house, only God brings us back. We're not certain, we're not sure. You can't say, I'll do this by God's grace, because so many things happen. So same thing with relationship, friendship, marriage, partnership, relationship. So you don't know, you just hope for the best. And I also believe that for you to be able to lead as a man in a relationship, you need to be put together. You're the head, you're the lamb. You need to be solid. When your partner, your wife, is not sure of something, or she's feeling down, or she needs to remember you, and I have a backing. There's something somewhere that I can run to. And how do you maintain that? Is by being strong. Strength is very important. And when I say strength, I don't mean to the detriment of your partner. I mean for both of you. The society puts so much expectation on men when it comes to this aspect. You cannot be crying now.
Again.
Yes, you can't be showing weakness. You're a man now. Put yourself together. That kind of thing. And then this man is broken. It hurts. And nobody can understand. No matter how much he tries to express that pain and hurt, no one can get it. Because we're crying out loud, you're a man. I tell you, something happened recently. So someone gifted the family something, and the gift came through my wife. And I found out that the gift had been going on for so long and it had been going through her. Oh boy, come. I know the person picking. At what point is this gift going to be routed through me? And she said, that's how it is. And I heard her, I understood. Truly, that's how it is. All the people who gave her stuff, men, women, they never spoke to me about it. And the gift is for the family. They gave it to her, you know. And it's the way it is. Everybody expects that. Come on. If they even feel somehow sending the gift through you, because you're supposed to be whole. You're supposed to be like, you don't need anything. But it made me feel somehow. It made me feel somehow like, but wait, though. I be person picking. And I shook it off again. Like, right after then, I picked up another financial responsibility despite all of that. So for me, in marriage, vulnerability in marriage, it's like a yard of materials. Like, you lay the first fold, you lay the second fold, you lay the third fold, and then again, when you're doing that based off the response that you get from your partner, sometimes it could encourage you to go more.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you show your weakness and the person takes it as, so why are you not sounding like this? So some men find themselves with very strong personalities as partners, women. By strong, I mean women who are very firm, you know, firm in decision making and all of that. They're not your typical softy type of women. Not like they're not soft, but they're very firm. Now, being around such women means that as a man, you cannot let your guards down. You have to come correct, so to say. I mean, sometimes we take kicks from sort of like a silent appraisal from your partner. Like, how more you, and you try for that thing. There's that thing, it does something to you.
But such women still praise their husbands.
And I'm not saying for such women, it's the praise is hard to come by. It's not like they don't, but they'll give you that, you know, that appraisal of you or recognition of your effort and everything. You hold it dear to heart. It means a lot to you. You get like, my wife is happy that this thing happened this way and all of that. So you being vulnerable around such women, for some men it might not be too comfortable, too convenient, so to say. You want to check, you're careful what you say, you're careful how you appear before her. You're careful how you appear before her. So in such a case, you might not want to divulge everything to that woman. You might just want to release the part that this lady is tactical, logical in her reasoning. So because of that, let me release this. Let me present it this way. Let me sound like this. Because you know that, oh man, if you shoot them down, she might not be impressed. She might not be bothered. You might not get that reaction that you hope or you seek to get. So because of that, you are quite conscious about being vulnerable. And vulnerability is supposed to be you appearing in your weak form, in that natural...
Uncensored.
Yes, uncensored, that's the word. Just appearing as natural as possible. Like, however you appear in front of this person, you are fine. You guys can laugh over it. But you know that this woman could be very critical. You know, she could be very critical.
Well, because she expects barest minimum, the standard with which she's led her life.
Exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
Exactly what I mean. So stemming from there, vulnerability could be a very careful process, a very thoughtful, careful process, rather than you just being there and in that uncensored state, like you said. You're careful. You're going to be uncensored in a censored type of way. I won't drop everything all at once. Like a man who lost his job, say for instance now, and he lost it because maybe there was competition in the office. Maybe another guy or even female. Yes. Who's, you know, and he's been telling the wife about this. They've asked Veronica to come and do the presentation instead of me. But that's your position now. Like, you should be the one doing that, Femi. And then it finally happens. This competition of rivalry has been going on for so long, and then it finally happens that they hand over a position to maybe a promotion.
The rival.
Yeah, to the rival. How'd you go back home and say, I lost? Because it's a competition. I lost to this person. Now, I lost to someone who you and I deem is not even equal to me in terms of classification, in terms of qualification, education, and all of that experience. We both know that, oh, maybe I have this, what you call a certification in this and that, and she lacks it. There's this series on Netflix you should watch, Alpha Male.
Okay.
Alpha Male, beautiful. You will get to see how it is. Alpha Male.
Okay.
Yeah, so for me, being vulnerable around such a woman could require you to be very, very
On top
careful.
of your game.
Yeah, very careful. You don't want to reveal everything. You don't want to appear weak. You don't want to. That's just an instance. You
If
know?
I may say, from a female perspective, you would find out that even such a woman that you believe is strong, is very tactical and logical in a decision-making process, it would be very interesting to find out that such a woman is yearning for her husband to be vulnerable, to come as he is. The example you use, to come home and say, oh, this happened, and then she wants to come in and say, okay, I think if you could do this, do that, you could get back that role. She wants to figure out ways that she can help the man to fully come into his own joy. That thing you said about joy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, there is that. And it takes the man to be willing to trust.
Yeah.
Yes, to trust that my woman, sometimes you divulge information and they're used as a weapon against you in conversations. The woman might not even know she's doing it. She'll just use it. Maybe you guys she might just be slighting you. You guys are just having maybe funny conversation and all that, and she'll just use it, and you'll be like,
subtle.
yeah, in a very subtle manner, and you're like, okay.
Next time I'll not tell you.
Now, because you know now, and then the next time I'm going to filter, because now I know that, oh, you shouldn't have access to this information. I'm speaking from a personal experience. I want to know. I'm not going to tell you. I want to know. Fine, okay, here it is. And then after hearing it like this, it was a weapon. Slashed me all over. I'm like, okay.
You learned a lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I will keep being vulnerable, but selective vulnerability.
It's not
like,
bound.
like, okay, I would help her because it's not really our fault. Sometimes it's just the nature. It's almost like we have an internal filter, emotional filter. Like there's something inside of us that cuts off the raw form of the emotions. As men, I'm just
Inbuilt.
saying. Inbuilt. I'm just saying as
Is
men.
it inbuilt as you came, or just societal expectations of you?
Well,
that, oh, a man shouldn't be too soft.
over the years, you get to understand that there's certain expectations that are just placed on you as a man. Nobody tells you. And then apart from the expectations, there are also certain level of respect accorded to you as well. I remembered when I got married, I remember the change in my life. Professionally, the change in my life. The way people address you, the way people assign responsibilities and roles and duties to you. There's just that thing, like, come on, this man, you guys respect him. Because they just know that you're a married man. There's a courage you have that people just know that, okay, there's some level of sense of responsibility that over you, that people just know that this guy must be married. He doesn't talk this way. I don't know how to put it.
Self-respect.
Yes, the criticism and then the respect and everything that the society places on you, over time, you wear the badge. So you just know that you're not supposed to say this thing as raw as it is.
Yeah.
You can't say that in front of, you can't do this, you can't do that.
Is there a natural yearning though? Do you have that yearning on your inside where, yeah, you've been told you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that? At that moment where you don't want to be alone, because we said earlier that leadership can be lonely.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting perspective that you shared, that even in marriage, that is sometimes a reality. Right. So to some extent, if I can use the word, I can feel the pain, because by the grace of God, I've been in leadership, and I know that it can be lonely.
Yeah.
If you feel that way in marriage, I think for me as a woman, it's scary. Right. And I'm already thinking two ways. Are there moments that you yearn, I want to drop all the shields. I just want to have that one person who understands me, who feels me, who I can come uncensored. Right. Then the other way is, how can I help my woman use my vulnerability in a way that is uplifting for both of us, for our common goal for the marriage?
Yeah, I think this was a very important question that you asked. Though you've asked it in another form, but
Okay.
you had asked it. We were about to answer this before that gauge.
Oh, okay.
So, and I told you that I didn't think that the answer would come readily to me.
Yeah.
Now, how can a woman take advantage or help?
There are two
direct?
sides.
Yeah.
The first is, how as a man, how do you drop your shield?
Yeah.
Then to now
Help
anticipate the response from the woman, how do you ensure that it's our response is in such a constructive manner that can help your common goal of marriage?
I think the very first thing is there must be a plan, there must be an agreed direction that you guys are going. You're carrying each other along, you're doing things together. Your goals, so to say, partnership goals for the year, this is blah, 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 blah. So that way, you know that you have some level of accountability to do or to report to your partner in terms of this when you guys have a common goal. Because let's not forget the fact that we're all individuals.
Yeah.
In fact, one of the strengths of marriage, so to say, is recognizing the individualism of your partner. It's very important. Before they met you, they were someone.
Yeah.
They had dreams, they had goals, they had things that excited them and everything. They shouldn't throw away all those things. In fact, that brings happiness. Because the truth is this: we all get bored at some point. You get bored of your job. You get bored of your sitting room. You want to change stuff. Yes, you get bored of your wardrobe. You can get bored of your partner. That's something we don't talk about. It's allowed. It's allowed.
Wow.
But how do you
Wow.
refresh it?
You should come back on the episode where we'll be discussing how to manage that in a marriage.
Yes, so it spills into what was
So
said.
guys, watch out. It's coming
spills
back to
it's allowed. No, I'm not. People don't talk about this area a lot. Like you're supposed to be prim and proper all through your years of marriage. It's bull crap. You're allowed to feel weak. We're talking about vulnerability.
Yeah.
Yes. So you're allowed to be bored of your partner. Like, Madamo, they changed style now. And even me too. I've done this thing too many times. Which is this one you've done again? It might just be a simple haircut. It might just be something new. To give you guys a fresh point of view, just injecting freshness. So part of being vulnerable is to understand that aspect as well is okay. It's fine.